Enzo Recto, kalaban ang katiwalian at kasinungalingan, kakampi sa katotohanan at kabutihan.
Tila ginisa ngayon sa sariling mantika itong mga kampo ni Digong Duterte. Dahil po mga kabunyog nag-file mismo ang kanyang anak na si Kitty Duterte at itong si Panelo ng TRO or Temporary Restraining Order sa Korte Suprema para hilingin sa ICC na ibalik si Digong Duterte dito sa Pilipinas. Ang problema mga kabunyog, hindi ito kayang gawin ng Pilipinas dahil kung maaalala natin, wala ng jurisdiksyon ang Pilipinas or utusan man lang ang ICC o hayan. Kinakarma na kayo, di ba? Paulit-ulit ninyo itong sinasabi na wala ng jurisdiksyon ang ICC dito sa Pilipinas, kaya wala na silang karapatan na manghimasok pa. Pero tila kailangan ninyo itong paniwalaan ngayon. Bakit? Dahil walang saysay yung TRO ninyo. Kung hindi na tayo sakop ng ICC, yan po ang tinatawag na a taste of your own medicine. Ngayon kayo magmakaawa sa ICC na ibalik si Digong, pero suntok sa buwan na lang yan hinihiling ninyo. Anyway, para po sa iba pang detalye ng balitang, panoorin po natin ito.
Well, just this morning, the daughter of former President Duterte, Kitty Duterte, turned to the Supreme Court to compel the government to bring back her father, her lawyers. Former Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo and his son, Attorney Salvador Paulo Panelo Jr., filed a habeas corpus petition at the High Court on her behalf. Respondents to the petition include Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla, National Police Chief Romel Marbil, the CIDG Chief Nicolas Torre III.
Ang hinihiling ni Ms. Duterte is utusan ang gobyerno na ibalik ang Pangulong Duterte, ipakita sa Korte Suprema, ipaliwanag kung bakit bigla na lang dinakip ang Pangulong Duterte na walang warrant of arrest na legal, tapos madali ang sinakay sa eroplano papuntang The Hague. So naniniwala kami na walang jurisdiction ng ICC dito. So nangangahulugan na hindi pwedeng gamiting basehan yung ICC warrant of arrest para arestuhin, detenahin at dalhin si Pangulong Duterte sa ICC.
Yan mga kabunyog, malinaw ang kanilang mga sinabi na walang jurisdiksyon ang ICC dito sa ating bansa. Hay nako. Nakakatawa talaga ang mga ito. Paano ninyo nga utusan ang ICC na i-turn over si Digong sa inyo? Wala na nga tayong jurisdiksyon sa ICC dito sa ating bansa. Sa madaling sabi, wala tayong kakayahan na diktahan ang ICC kung ano ang dapat nilang gawin. Kaya wala nang bisayang pinaggagawa ninyo. Anyway, para po sa malaliman pang paliwanag, panoorin po natin ito.
And now to talk about former President Duterte's arrest, we have the Hague Academy of International Law alumnus, Attorney Dino Singson de Leon. Sir, magandang umaga and welcome to Morning Matters.
Good morning and nice to see you again.
Yes, sir. Sir, let me start with this. Ito, kagabi si Sal Panelo, dating spokesman ni Pangulong Duterte, ang sabi niya magsasampa sila ng kaso sa Korte Suprema to get the court to order the government to bring back the former president dahil illegal daw yung pagkakapaalis sa kanya at pagkakaresto. What do you think? Is that possible at all?
I think it's going to be a moot and academic question, no? As rightly pointed out a while ago by Senator Trillanes. May tinatawag tayo in law na coercive jurisdiction of a court, no, including the Supreme Court. And in this particular instance, once considering that President Duterte will now be turned over in The Hague, that is outside of the coercive jurisdiction of our local courts. That is to say that our local courts cannot order a foreign entity to do its bidding, right?
In layman's terms, wala na magagawa.
Walang magagawa. Fait accompli, no? At paano niyo kahit na-order niya yung Philippine government, even the Philippine government, once it turns over Mr. Duterte to the International Criminal Court, wala na rin siyang jurisdiction yun, hindi niya na rin control. So the Philippine government can also not do anything the moment that they turn over President Duterte to The Hague.
Understood, sir. Pero ibang bagay yung wala na magagawa versus maaari pa bang magkaroon ng finding, if at all, ang Korte Suprema na, mali ang ginawa ninyo? Would that be possible? I mean, if you look at the law and you look at how things happen with the law, would that even be possible?
It's possible. It's arguable. No, my reading is the Philippines was just abiding with its obligation to the Interpol, no, and that is to turn over as soon as possible, as soon as practicable, a fugitive already being searched by an international organization, and the warrant of arrest was coursed through the Interpol, no. I don't believe, as a practicing lawyer, no, that the Rome Statute still applies, kasi sinasabi doon sa Rome Statute dapat dalhin muna doon sa korte ng custodial state, but we already withdrew from the International Criminal Court, or from the Rome Statute. So that means that it would be wrong to take a look at the rules of the ICC as if it still applies to us. So what is our obligation therefore? Our obligation is with the Interpol, and yun yung applicable. And based on Interpol rules, the moment that a red notice is released, we should forthwith deliver that particular person. I'm just using that word again.
Yeah. But sir, regardless of what the Rome Statute says or what the ICC says, did we follow local laws? Did we follow local procedures? Because in the end, baka naman dun sumabit. I mean, baka naman dun sabihin ng Korte, whether Korte Suprema or NRTC or Court of Appeals, na this was the process specified by law, and did we follow it at all?
Well, alam mo, right now, no, this is in the case of Marcos versus Manglapus. No? Marcos versus Manglapus, if you would recall, President Aquino prevented the return of the Marcoses when they wanted to return. And it was called, yung doctrine doon was the residual powers of the President, to make sure that there's peace and order, to ensure that public welfare is protected. No? The President has awesome powers, and that is part of his prerogative. And at that point in time, when nakita niya na kailangan immediate transfer, if the transfer will actually happen at all, then that is within the wisdom and prerogative of the President. And at the same time, nothing was stopping the President. You know, the Supreme Court had the chance as well to issue a TRO because they were able to read the petition, no? And until 1103, there was no TRO issued by the Supreme Court. So at that point in time, nothing was preventing the President from abiding with our international obligations under the Interpol.
Nag-aabang nga yung mga abogado ni Pangulong Duterte sa Supreme Court kahit gabi.
Correct.
And we were wondering last night, may tao ba sa Supreme Court at the time? And I thought the declaration was irraffle, which means that it's going to take a bit of time.
Yeah, pero bago kasi i-raffle, pagkasabit, pwede na kasi mag-issue ang Supreme Court ng TRO eh. The drafting is another thing. Diba? But they can issue a TRO. You know, this was all over the news. Ang dami na nating analysis. Diba? So, of course, all the justices were aware of this. Diba? And they could have issued a TRO if they wanted to. Right? But at that point in time, wala. So, it was the prerogative of the President as a chief executive to implement our obligations under the Interpol, consistent as well with his residual powers under the case of Marcos versus Manglapus.
So in a way, yung hindi pag-issue ng immediate TRO ng Supreme Court is already in itself a decision.
Well, pwede sila mag-issue pero too late. Fait accompli, di ba? At that point in time, the President has already exercised his prerogative to turn over forthwith.
That word again.
Mr. Duterte.
Obviously, wala na sa dito eh. So, kahit mag-issue ng TRO, there's nothing to restrain anymore.
Nothing to restrain anymore. Pero alam mo...
Yeah, regarding yung arrest protocols, Senator Trillanes, I don't know if you saw yung statement ni Attorney Sal Panelo. Sabi niya, they will compel or ask the Supreme Court to have former President Duterte ipauwi sa Pilipinas dahil siya po ay kinidnap daw. Ano po reaction natin doon, Senator?
Yan po ay mga mga smokescreen, mga panglilihis sa issue, panglilang. At coming from Mr. Panelo, alam nyo, isa siya sa nagpasubo kay Duterte kasi sabi niya fake news daw yung warrant na kumakalat nung over the weekend. O di dahil dyan, kaka-fake news nila, di sinubukan nila. At yan nga ang nangyari. Anyway, ganito, kahit na ano pang gawin ng Korte Suprema, sabihin na pababalikin, that is physically impossible at this point, legally impossible kasi once lumapag sa Netherlands yung eroplano na nagdadala kay Duterte, eventually ite-turn over siya doon. So the jurisdiction now over his body belongs to the ICC. Paano obligahin ni Mr. Panelo yan? Ngayon, ano lang yan? Pampaasa lang nila sa kanilang mga supporters. Pero gusto kong liwanagin ito na dinadala nila dun sa legal arguments, technicalities na bawal ito or unconstitutional ito. Hindi po yan ang primary issue dito. Ang primary issue dito ay karapat-dapat ba si Duterte managot dun sa libo-libong nangamatay nung panahon niya? Ang sagot dyan, oo. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-aabuso ng iyong kapangyarihan tapos you expect to get away with it. Hindi. Ito po yung nangyari na yan. Meron din legal basis yan. Dati tayo sa member ng ICC at nag-ruling na ang Korte Suprema na kahit hindi tayo membro ngayon, yung jurisdiction pa rin ay meron ang ICC nung panahon na miyembro tayo. Kaya ito yung pinapanagot niya. No?
Yan mga kabunyog, narinig po natin itong mga pinagsasabi nila. Hay nako. Kahit anong gawin nyo, wala na. Doon na mabubulok itong si Digong Duterte. At tama lang yan para magkaroon naman ng hustisya ang mga nabiktima ng kanyang kalokohan. Anyway, dito na lang po ang aking topic. Mabuhay po tayo mga kabunyog.
Bunyog, bunyog, halikan na kasama ka. Bunyog, kapag buklod ay may pag-asa. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, isa ang pananaw. Sa bagong Pilipinas ang bunyog isisigaw. Bunyog.